There comes a moment in your life when you ask yourself, why me? Why did I have to endure the pain, the betrayal, the manipulation? Why did I give my love, my loyalty, my soul, only to be met with cruelty? You loved them, you fought for them, you sacrificed, and what did they do? They drained you, they broke you, they made you question your worth. But listen to me, God didn't put you there by accident. You weren't a mistake in their life, you were the lesson. You were the light in their darkness, the truth in their lies, the proof that love still exists in a world poisoned by selfishness. See, a narcissist doesn't cross your path without a reason. You were sent, not to be destroyed, but to awaken something deeper, to serve a purpose beyond the pain. And today, I want to show you exactly why. Now let me tell you something powerful. If you've ever doubted your purpose, listen carefully. Here's what you need to understand. This will change the way you see everything. Let me break this down for you. You might not realize this yet, but lean in and hear this truth. Your presence in a narcissist's life was not random. It was not by accident. It was not some cruel twist of fate meant to destroy you. No, you were placed there for a divine purpose, one greater than you may have realized at the time. You see, narcissists live in a carefully crafted illusion. They wear a mask that fools the world, a mask of charm, confidence, and control. But beneath that mask lies deep insecurity, darkness, and brokenness they refuse to acknowledge. They survive by manipulating, deceiving, and using people to feed their fragile ego. And then you entered their life. You, with your light. You, with your love. You, with your ability to see the truth. At first they were drawn to you, not because they loved you, but because they saw something in you that they wanted to control. They saw your kindness, your empathy, your strength, and they thought they could use it for their own gain. They believed they could mold you into another source of validation, another person who would worship them, obey them, and never question their false reality. But what they didn't anticipate was that you weren't like the others. You weren't blind to their deception. You weren't easily manipulated. And even if they managed to make you doubt yourself for a while, there was something inside you, something unshakable, that would not be broken. You see, God placed you in their life to expose their darkness. Your presence alone was enough to shake them, because for the first time they were faced with someone who saw through their lies, someone who refused to play along with their games forever, and that terrified them. They thrive on control, and yet no matter how hard they tried, they could not fully control you. No matter how much they gaslit, twisted, and manipulated, they could not keep you from questioning, from searching for the truth, from seeing what they really were. And that's when the battle began. They fought desperately to keep the illusion alive. When you started noticing the cracks, they found new ways to cover them. When you questioned their behavior, they turned it back on you. When you asked for honesty, they gave you confusion. And for a time, you may have doubted yourself. You may have thought, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe I'm overreacting. But deep down, something inside you knew better. God was opening your eyes. He was revealing things to you that others had missed. He was giving you the strength to see through the deception. And as you started waking up, as you started seeing them for who they truly were, something incredible happened. You became a mirror. Your presence, your truth, your unwillingness to be controlled forced them to confront something they had spent their whole life avoiding, themselves. They could no longer hide behind the perfect image they created. They could no longer pretend to be someone they were not, because every time they looked at you, they saw their own reflection, one they could not escape. That's why the attacks became worse. That's why the manipulation intensified. Because the more you exposed their darkness, the more desperate they became to silence you. They wanted to break you down so you wouldn't see the truth. They wanted to make you question yourself so you wouldn't trust what God was revealing to you. But no matter how much they tried, they couldn't erase what you already knew. And that's when they turned to their final weapon, discarding you. When they realized they couldn't control you, they decided to devalue you, to make you feel like you were nothing, to strip you of your worth so you would never question leaving. They wanted you to believe that losing them was your failure, but in reality it was your victory. Because the moment you walked away, the moment you chose yourself, the moment you refused to keep feeding their illusion, that was the moment they lost. But here's the most powerful part. Even after you were gone, your presence never left them. You see, you weren't just another person in their life. You were a disruption. You were a force they had never encountered before. And whether they admit it or not, they will never forget you. Because you exposed the darkness they were trying to hide from. You revealed the truth they spent years covering up. You made them face the reality they refused to accept. That's why God put you there. Not to be a victim, not to be destroyed, but to bring truth into a place of lies. To be the one person who stood up and said, I see you. I see the real you, and I will not be deceived. That is why your presence mattered. That is why your pain was not in vain. You were sent to expose what others could not see. And that, my friend, was your purpose. You showed them what real love is. Love is something a narcissist does not truly understand. They crave admiration, they demand attention, and they require validation to survive. But love, real, unconditional love, that is foreign to them. Love, to them, is a transaction. It's about power, control, and what they can get from you. They have spent their entire lives taking, manipulating, and deceiving, believing that love is nothing more than a tool to use against people. And then you came along. You walked into their life with something they had never truly experienced before. You gave them kindness without expecting anything in return. You forgave their flaws. You believed in them when no one else did. You saw something in them that they could not even see in themselves. You loved them. Truly loved them. Not because of what they could do for you, but simply because your heart was made to love deeply. At first, they welcomed it. They basked in it. They felt powerful knowing someone like you could care so deeply for them. But over time, something happened. Your love started to feel like a threat. Because real love, pure love, isn't something a narcissist can handle. Love requires vulnerability. It requires honesty. It requires self-reflection. And those are things they cannot bear to face. So instead of accepting your love, they tried to destroy it. They pushed you away. They tested you. They created chaos just to see if you would still love them after everything they put you through. They took advantage of your kindness, seeing how far they could go before you would finally break. And yet, through it all, you kept loving. You kept giving. You kept believing that maybe, just maybe, they could change. And that terrified them. Because in their world, love is supposed to be a game. It's supposed to be something they control. But with you, they weren't in control anymore. Your love was something they could not manipulate. It was real, it was pure, and it was something they had never been worthy of. And deep down, they knew it. So what did they do? They ran from it. They sabotaged it. They treated you like you were the problem. Because admitting that you were right, that love could be different, that love didn't have to be toxic, that was something they could never do. It would mean facing their own emptiness. It would mean acknowledging that everything they had built their life upon was a lie. But here's the truth they will never tell you. They felt it. They may never admit it. They may never apologize. They may never look you in the eyes and say, I see now that what you gave me was real. But deep down, in the quiet moments when no one else is around, they know. They know you love them in a way no one else ever has. They know you gave them something they will never find again. And that is why they will never forget you. That is why, no matter how much time passes, no matter how many new people they try to replace you with, no matter how much they pretend you never mattered, you did. Because real love is unforgettable. And even though they tried to break you, even though they tried to convince themselves that they never needed you, they will spend the rest of their lives searching for something that feels like what you gave them. But here's the difference. You can love again. You can heal. You can take the love you gave so freely and give it to someone who will cherish it, honor it, and never take it for granted. They, however, will never change. They will continue the cycle. They will continue searching, pretending, deceiving, always looking for something to fill the void that only real love could ever fill. So, if you ever wonder, did my love even matter? Let me tell you this. Yes, it did. It shook them to their core. It reminded them of everything they are not. It proved to them that love exists outside of their twisted version of reality. And while they may never admit it, while they may never say the words you deserve to hear, know this: you are the closest thing to real love they will ever experience. And that is something they will carry with them forever. 3, you were there to learn your own strength. You didn't walk into the narcissist's life knowing what you were about to endure. You didn't see the storm coming. You didn't anticipate the betrayal, the manipulation, or the way they would slowly try to break you down. You loved them, you believed in them, you wanted to see the best in them. And because of that, you gave them parts of yourself that you thought were safe. You gave them your time, your energy, your trust, and your love. But what you didn't realize at the time was that this journey, this pain, this chaos, was never about them. It was about you. Because before them, you didn't know your own strength. You didn't know the depths of your resilience. You didn't know just how much you could endure and still rise again. But life has a way of teaching us through fire. And this was your fire. The narcissist was not sent into your life to love you. They were sent to awaken something inside of you that you had forgotten. In the beginning, you may have felt powerless. Their words cut deep. Their actions confused you. One moment, they made you feel like you were the most important person in the world. The next, they left you questioning your worth. The push and pull, the highs and lows, it was all designed to make you feel like you needed them, like your happiness depended on their validation. And for a while, you may have believed it. You may have fought harder, given more, sacrificed pieces of yourself just to keep the peace. But something inside you refused to stay silent. Something inside you started to resist. Maybe it was a whisper at first, a quiet voice that told you something wasn't right. Maybe it was the way your body started reacting, the way you felt drained, anxious, and uncertain, even in moments that should have felt safe. Maybe it was the way you started noticing patterns, realizing that no matter how much you gave, it was never enough. And that was the beginning of your awakening. Because strength isn't something that appears overnight. It is built, it is tested, it is forged in moments when you have no choice but to stand up for yourself, even when it feels impossible. And that is exactly what happened. The more they tried to break you, the more you began to see the truth. The more they tried to control you, the more you started fighting for your freedom. The more they tried to convince you that you were nothing without them, the more you began to realize just how much you had lost by staying. And then the moment came. The moment when you finally saw yourself clearly, not as they painted you, not as they manipulated you to believe, but as you truly are, strong, worthy, and more powerful than you ever knew. The moment you decided to walk away, to reclaim your life, to stop searching for their approval and start loving yourself instead, that was the moment you stepped into your power. Because the truth is, you were never weak, you were never broken, you were simply learning. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of self-doubt, it was all shaping you into the person you were always meant to be. And now you see it, now you know. You didn't just survive them, you rose above them. You took the lessons, the pain, the heartache, and you turned it into strength. So, if you ever wonder why you had to go through this, why you had to endure so much just to find yourself again, know this: it was never about them. It was about you. It was about discovering the warrior inside you, the unshakable force that refused to be destroyed. And now you stand in that strength, knowing that nothing and no one will ever have the power to break you again. For you were a mirror to their own brokenness. Narcissists spend their entire lives running from the truth. They construct a world where they are powerful, admired, and untouchable. They wear a mask of confidence, charm, and superiority, fooling everyone around them into believing they are something greater than they truly are. But beneath that mask lies deep insecurity, self-hatred, and a fear they will never admit. The fear of being seen for who they really are. Then you came into their life, and without even realizing it, you became the one thing they could not escape: a mirror. You didn't just see the version of them they wanted to show the world. You saw deeper. You saw the cracks in their perfection, the inconsistencies in their words, the emptiness behind their eyes. You saw the pain they tried so desperately to bury, and for the first time, they were forced to face something they had avoided their entire life: the truth. At first, they were drawn to you. You had something they didn't: depth, authenticity, the ability to love without an agenda. You made them feel alive, made them believe, even if just for a moment, that maybe they could be different. But narcissists don't do well with real love. Real love requires vulnerability, honesty, and self-awareness, things they are terrified of. So instead of embracing what they found in you, they fought against it. They began to resent you, not because you did anything wrong, but because your existence reminded them of everything they were not. Your kindness exposed their cruelty. Your honesty made their lies feel even more hollow. Your emotional depth made their emptiness unbearable. And that is something a narcissist cannot handle. They cannot stand to be reminded of their own inadequacy. So they did what they do best. They projected. They blamed you for the very flaws they were guilty of. They twisted reality to make you feel like you were the problem. They called you overly emotional, too sensitive, too demanding. Anything to distract from the real issue, which was them. Every time you questioned their actions, they made you feel crazy for doing so. Every time you pointed out their inconsistencies, they found a way to turn it back on you. But deep down, no matter how much they denied it, no matter how much they tried to shift the blame, they knew the truth. And that truth haunted them, because for once in their life, someone saw them, really saw them. And that kind of exposure is unbearable for a narcissist. They don't want to heal, they don't want to grow, they just want to continue living in their illusion. And you were a threat to that illusion. That's why they tried so hard to destroy you. Not because you were weak, but because you were strong. Not because you were worthless, but because you were valuable. Not because you failed them, but because you refused to be blind to their deception. They had two choices: face the truth or get rid of the one person who saw it. And because they will always choose comfort over growth, they chose to push you away. But here's what they never expected: you survived. Even after they tried to break you, even after they drained you emotionally, even after they made you doubt your own worth, you survived. And that is something they will never understand, because while they remain trapped in their cycle, living the same toxic patterns over and over again, you broke free. You became stronger. You became wiser. You became everything they feared you would become. So, if you ever wonder why they treated you the way they did, why they ran from your love, why they tried to tear you down when all you did was care, remember this: it was never about you. It was about them. You were a mirror to their brokenness, and instead of facing it, they tried to shatter the reflection. But they didn't succeed, because you are still standing. You have healed, you have grown, and you have become someone they will never be whole. You broke the cycle they thought would never end. Narcissists are creatures of habit. They live in cycles. Cycles of manipulation, destruction, and control. They move from one person to the next, taking what they need and discarding the rest. They feed on the energy of those who love them, using their kindness, empathy, and loyalty to fuel their own self-importance. And because they have done it so many times before, they assume they will always get away with it. They believe they are untouchable. They believe they can play their games, tell their lies, and manipulate people into staying trapped in their twisted reality. And for a while, they succeed. They lure people in with charm, with promises, with illusions of love. They create a fantasy so powerful that their victims don't even realize they are trapped until it's too late. But then you came along, and at first they thought you would be just like the others. They thought they could mold you, control you, and keep you in their cycle forever. They thought you would never see the truth, never fight back, never walk away. They underestimated you because you were different. Maybe you didn't know it at first. Maybe you played along with their game, believing their words, falling for their manipulation. Maybe you stayed longer than you should have, hoping, praying that they would change. But something inside you refused to stay blind. Something inside you refused to let them win. And that was their mistake. Because unlike the others, you woke up. You started questioning. You started noticing the patterns. You started piecing together the truth, realizing that nothing they said ever truly matched their actions. You started understanding that their love was never real, that their kindness was conditional, that their apologies were nothing more than empty words meant to pull you back into their control. And then you did the one thing they never saw coming. You broke the cycle. You stopped reacting to their manipulation. You stopped falling for their mind games. You stopped giving them the fuel they needed to survive. You took your power back. You walked away, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You detached yourself from their grip, refusing to be another victim in their never-ending cycle of destruction. And that was the ultimate betrayal to them. Because narcissists don't just want control. They want to believe they will always have it. They want to believe that no one will ever leave them, that they can always find a way to pull people back in. But you proved them wrong. You did what so many before you couldn't. You saw through their act, and you chose yourself. And that is something they will never forget, because now they know they are not as powerful as they once believed. Now they know their tactics don't work on everyone. Now they know that someone saw them for who they truly are and refused to stay trapped in their world. That realization will haunt them. They may pretend it doesn't bother them. They may act like they have moved on, like you never mattered, like they have already replaced you. But deep down, they know the truth. They know they lost something they will never get back. Someone who saw them, someone who challenged them, someone who broke the cycle they thought would last forever. And you are free. You have broken the chains they tried so hard to keep around you. You have stepped into a new reality, one where you are in control, one where you are no longer bound by their manipulation, their toxicity, their lies. So, if you ever wonder whether walking away was the right decision, if you ever question whether they truly feel the impact of losing you, know this: they do. Because you were the one who broke their pattern. You were the one who refused to be another pawn in their game. You were the one who reminded them that no matter how much they try to control others, they will never be able to control you. Narcissists thrive on power. They build their entire existence around controlling others, manipulating emotions, and tearing down those who dare to love them. It is their lifeline, the way they validate themselves, the way they feel superior, the way they maintain the illusion that they are untouchable. They have spent their entire lives believing they hold the power in every relationship, that they can break people at will, that no one can ever truly stand up to them and walk away whole. Then they met you. At first they saw you as just another source of supply, someone they could mold, manipulate, and drain. They saw your kindness, your compassion, your deep capacity to love, and they mistook it for weakness. They thought you were just like the others before you, someone who would crumble under their games, someone who would beg them to stay, someone who would lose themselves trying to hold on to them. And for a time, maybe you did. Maybe you cried over them, questioned yourself, wondered what you did wrong. Maybe you let their words get inside your head, let their accusations make you doubt your own reality. Maybe you fought for them, defended them, sacrificed parts of yourself just to make things work. Maybe you believed the lie they fed you, that you weren't enough, that you were the problem, that you were lucky just to have them in your life. But what they didn't count on, what they never saw coming, was that you wouldn't stay down. Because you were not weak, you never were. You just didn't realize your strength yet. And that is what terrifies them the most. They did everything they could to break you. They pushed you to your limits, played with your emotions, made you feel like nothing without them. They created chaos, confusion, pain, anything to make you lose yourself in them. And for a while they thought they had won. But something inside you refused to stay broken. Something inside you started fighting back. Maybe it was a slow realization, a small voice in the back of your mind telling you that you deserved better. Maybe it was a moment of clarity, seeing them for who they really are instead of who you wanted them to be. Maybe it was exhaustion, realizing that no matter what you did, they would never change, never love you the way you deserved, never be the person you hoped they could become. And that was the moment you took your power back. You stopped believing their lies. You stopped playing their games. You stopped giving them control over your emotions, your self-worth, your life. You saw through them, their empty apologies, their manipulation, their desperate need to keep you trapped in their web. You saw it all, and instead of falling for it again, you walked away. And that was the one thing they never thought you would do. Because narcissists don't believe people can truly leave them. They believe they have left such a deep wound in you that you will always come back, that they can always find a way to pull you back into their world. They expect you to remain broken, to spend years recovering, to never fully heal from the damage they caused. But you proved them wrong. You healed. You grew. You became stronger, wiser, more aware of your worth. You didn't just survive them, you thrived beyond them. And that is something they will never be able to understand. Because narcissists don't heal, they don't grow, they don't move on in the way healthy people do. They remain stuck, repeating the same patterns, trying to fill the void with new victims, new distractions, new ways to avoid facing themselves. But you broke free. You became everything they tried to destroy. You became the living proof that they never had the power they thought they did. And that will haunt them. They may pretend they don't care. They may act like you never mattered, like they've already replaced you, like you were just another name on a long list of people they have discarded. But deep down, they know the truth. They know they didn't break you. They know you walked away stronger than ever. And no matter how many people they move on to, no matter how much they try to convince themselves that they are still in control, they will always remember the one person who proved them wrong. You. You were chosen to rise above it. In life, we often face challenges that seem insurmountable. There are moments when we feel overwhelmed, defeated, and lost. During these times, it can feel like the weight of the world is pressing down on us. Yet there is an essential truth that many of us fail to recognize in these difficult moments. We were chosen to rise above these obstacles. Life's challenges are not random. They are an integral part of a process that shapes us into the individuals we are meant to be. You were chosen for this journey because you have the strength, resilience, and potential to overcome. The idea that you were chosen to face adversity can be empowering. It can transform the way you approach life's hardships. Instead of feeling helpless or defeated, you can start seeing yourself as someone who has been equipped with the tools necessary to overcome whatever comes your way. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity to grow, to become stronger, and to discover just how capable you truly are. This mindset shift can change the way you view life's challenges. Rather than seeing problems as insurmountable barriers, you can begin to see them as stepping stones. They are part of your journey, and you are not alone in facing them. There is a purpose in everything you go through, even if that purpose is not immediately clear. Life has a way of testing our limits, but these tests are often the catalysts for our growth. When we rise above our difficulties, we emerge not just stronger, but wiser. It's important to understand that you were not chosen because you are perfect, invincible, or immune to hardship. No one is. Everyone faces struggles, and it's in those moments of struggle that we truly find our strength. The process of rising above isn't about avoiding pain. It's about learning how to endure, adapt, and ultimately rise above it. Life will throw challenges your way, but it is through overcoming them that you realize your true potential. The idea of being chosen is not just about fate or destiny. It's about the inner strength and resilience that we all possess, even if we don't always recognize it. When faced with a difficult situation, many people may react by succumbing to fear, doubt, or hopelessness. However, Those who choose to rise above their circumstances are those who tap into that inner strength. They choose not to let their challenges define them, but instead, they allow their experiences to shape them into someone more capable, more resilient, and more determined than before. To rise above it, one must first acknowledge that there will be moments of hardship. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes things don't go according to plan. But that does not mean that we are helpless. We always have a choice in how we respond to adversity. We can choose to be crushed by it, or we can choose to rise above it, learning from the experience and emerging stronger than before. The key is not in avoiding pain, but in understanding that pain is temporary and growth is permanent. This is where the concept of resilience comes into play. Resilience is not about being unaffected by challenges, but about how we respond to them. It's the ability to bounce back after setbacks, to keep going despite the odds, and to find meaning and purpose in difficult situations. Resilient people understand that life is a journey, and every setback is just a detour on the road to success. They know that it is not about how many times they fall, but how many times they rise. When you embrace the idea that you were chosen to rise above, you begin to see every challenge as an opportunity for growth. The next time you face a difficult situation, instead of asking, "Why me?" ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" Each challenge, no matter how tough, has the potential to teach you something valuable. It could teach you patience, humility, perseverance, or even the importance of self-compassion. Every hardship is an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. There's also a powerful sense of freedom that comes from realizing that you are the one who has control over how you respond to challenges. External circumstances may be out of your control, but your internal response is always yours to choose. You can choose to be angry, frustrated, or defeated by the situation, or you can choose to accept it, learn from it, and rise above it. When you take responsibility for your own response, you reclaim your power. You are no longer a victim of circumstances, but the author of your own story. This doesn't mean that you have to handle everything on your own. Seeking help when needed is also part of rising above. Sometimes, the greatest strength lies in recognizing when you need support, whether it's from friends, family, mentors, or professionals. Don't be afraid to reach out when things feel too heavy. Rising above doesn't mean doing everything by yourself. It means knowing when to ask for help and using the resources available to you. Another important aspect of rising above is the role that mindset plays. A positive, growth-oriented mindset can make all the difference in how you experience adversity. When you approach challenges with the belief that you can overcome them, you are more likely to find solutions and persist through the difficulties. A fixed mindset, on the other hand, can limit your potential. If you believe that you are incapable of rising above your challenges, you are less likely to take the actions needed to overcome them. A growth mindset, however, fosters the belief that you can improve, adapt, and ultimately overcome any obstacle in your path. It's important to remember that rising above doesn't happen overnight. It is a process, one that requires time, effort, and patience. There will be setbacks along the way, and there will be moments when you feel like giving up. But in those moments, remind yourself that you were chosen to rise above. You are capable of handling whatever comes your way. With each challenge you face, you become stronger, more resilient, and more determined. Over time, you will look back on your journey and realize that the struggles you faced were the very things that shaped you into the person you are today. In conclusion, the concept of being chosen to rise above is a powerful reminder of your own inner strength. Life will present challenges, and some of them may seem insurmountable, but you were chosen because you have the ability to overcome them. You are not defined by your struggles, but by how you respond to them. The road may not always be easy, but the ability to rise above will guide you through even the toughest of times. So, when faced with adversity, remember, you were chosen to rise above it, and you have everything you need within you to do just that.